What's up? My name is AP50. My computer cut off and the file that I was creating was not corrupted, but I'm gonna continue talking about the thing that I was talking about before, which first I was talking about the nations. The last thing I was talking about was the nations and how it should be under five main nations. So like China could be under the USSR, Italy can be under, well, France can be under Britain, Israel can be under USA, Sweden can be under again, maybe Great Britain, but the other way that we could separate it is generally by the what vehicles the country has. So like for example, all the Chinese vehicle or the the Japanese vehicles can go under Japan while the other vehicles can go under USA and have like a special um implication on it where it has the if you want to research it has double the research points or a certain amount of research points to research it again and be able to use it with this country instead of having it into its own separate country and making more mixed battles. And that's something that I wanted. The other thing that I was talking about in other vehicles, I meant the other video was the fact that I'm gonna take the American tech tree and I'm gonna redo the video all over again. But the fact that I want attackers to be attackers, fighters to be fighters, and bombers to be bombers. Attackers and bombers should be going for they should also get the same bonus that fighters have, but to attack ground targets and kill bases or have a mix of it or whatever. And the fighters should have that bonus as well where you kill that fighter that certain amount of fighters and you have the bonus. Like that's already implemented into the game. But there for fighters and attackers there should be limitations, not limitations, but like something to derail them from doing a different role unless they have like a multi-role. Like for example, we can give the AV8 B plus a multi-role so they can do all of it and get like research points or bonus research points for all of it or something like that. But like for example, the attacker shouldn't be fighting. They only get 50% of the RP and coins, lions, if they go and kill a fighter with, like, for example, an A10A or A10C. And the same thing for fighters. They should only get 50% of the RP and 50% of the lions if they go and kill ground targets or bases. That was one thing that I was talking about. And then I was saying like there's no benefits for bombers or attackers. They just get killed in battle. There's nothing for them in general. And we could talk about that later when we talk about maps. And then the other thing was that like different groupings of fighters, like for example, all the F-86 should be together and certain fighters should be clumped together and that should dictate the battle rating essentially. Like for example, the MiGs and the F-86 would be a good example of that. And then figuring out where fighters should lie on for there, or some fighters or some vehicles should be in between like a rank 4 and a rank 5 because of some of that. And for ground vehicles, essentially we have to follow the rule of a heavy tank is a heavy tank, medium tank is a medium, and light is a light. So some heavy tanks don't feel like they're heavy tanks anymore, and there's some heavy tanks that should be moved down and be like a super heavy for the VR, just like the T-32 twos, the Mouse, and like the IS-3 and maybe the IS-4 even. That may be a stretch, but again, that's something that I was talking about for each VR, and then also having like one medium tank, one light tank for each VR or something like that that closely resembles or have the same characteristics. Like for example, M46 and the M26. I'm okay with that, even though the M46 has heat. I'm fine with that. Same thing with the Type 62 and the Rule 251. I believe that those should be in rank 4. And then all the other ones, keep those rank 5, like the T114. Nope, rank 5, 7.7. I can understand it. But I did want them to work on that as well. And then the other thing was just like I said, bombers. I believe that most to all bombers should be moved down by one BR, especially the B-17s. Especially all of the B-17s and the B-25s maybe. Like all of them should be moved down by one BR. Or we can make the AI gunners a little bit more harder so that bombers are a little bit more harder to kill. But something should be done for the bombers and attackers for sure. And then the other thing that I moved into, and I just gave you a quick synopsis of what I said for that video because the file got corrupted. And then the other thing that I moved on to was maps as well. And what I said was that for maps, we're gonna go to planes first. Boom, 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 boom. Domination, battle, conquest. And then we're not gonna do any encounter, any duels, and no ground strike. What I was saying was that I want more mission oriented missions as well. Just like, for example, landing in Malta, exercise on Ahu, no, not Berlin. Mm, no, Vietnam, no. But there was Operation, not Conquest, not Battle Box. I'm gonna try to find it. But like for example, like Midway, Wake Island. Where is it? Oh, I thought it was an alphabetical order. But Operation, an event. I like this, and this is something that I would like to see, but it's only for lower BR vehicles for some reason, and we all get maps that are essentially the same. Like I want to see maps where they're strictly for no, I don't want to do that. There. But I want to see maps that are strictly for fighters that go at each other and they have to kill the other team. Only thing. That's all they have to do. Kill the other team. No airfield, no nothing. You have to kill everybody on the other team. There's other maps where I believe that there should be fighter bomber escorts, where it's just fighters and bombers, fighters and attacker escorts to go attack ground targets. There's other missions where I believe that there should only be attackers and bombers just going at it to kill the enemy ground units. Like there should be a mix of those battles as well for people to go through. Just like in the other video, I went through all of these maps. Only 12 out of 88 of them are maps that don't have things in the center. Essentially, they don't have anything in the center because every vehicle is just going to want to go to the center. And now the attackers and the bombers have to be fighters because now the fighters are attacking them. They can't do what they need to do. So that's why you have people in like the A10C want to be a fighter and they're not going after ground targets at all because and I'm tired of it because every time I can get like this close to the map and here come a fighter already on my butt. I couldn't even get into ground targets or literally anything. Like I have to become a fighter because oh snap, now a fighter is literally right here and I haven't even got to the map yet. So no. And out of 88 maps, only 12 of them are not everything is not clumped in the center. Like honestly, there's maps that I really do miss, and I went over some of this where it was just like Wake Island was one of them, was mission oriented, Spaniard was one of them, mission oriented. I wanted Pirelli to come back as well, but I really do not see that map at all. This one's for light vehicles, and the other thing was that for some of those maps, or most of them, most of those 12 maps that I pointed out were only for light vehicles or BR like 1.0 to 3.0, and I would like to see those maps at a higher BR, like quite literally at a higher BR, like this one. This one, even though it goes up to 5.7, I never see it. Again, I never see it. And I think they changed this map as well. But a long time ago, there was another map where it's just ships. There was some ground targets over here, and then you can go and kill the ships as well. And for people that like to use torpedoes, they never get to use them because they never see maps like this. Literally, never. Like when? When? Tell me sometimes that you used a torpedo within the last 5 years. Actually, tell me because there's a lot of people that have not. But that's something that I would like them to change and come up with more creative maps. Like I just gave you a couple of ideas, and I wish that that was like some of the norm for that. And then it was like the same thing for ground maps as well, except for it's a bit different. Yes, I forgot to do that. I meant to do that a long time ago. But like for example, ground maps, they're essentially all right, but one thing I would like to have, where is El Alamein? El Alamein. I don't see it at the moment. And I might be stupid. that I don't see Elamine. Am I stupid? Hmm. No, this is the second battle of Elamine, but still, where is the original? You know what? I'm gonna go to custom battles again because I was in there. But essentially, no, not the. Oh, yeah, that's why. Essentially, what I was saying was the fact that I want some different battle modes where it's more of defense, offense, and saying like the blue team has B. B is already captured, right? And they have spawn points at like 3 to 4 different areas in the map. One, two, three, four, essentially. And the red team has four spawn areas, like one, two, three, and four. What blue team has to do is hold the point for the 15 minutes. And then the red team has to come and capture the point. Blue team has a disadvantage when it comes to tanks, but they have more points. Red team has more. I mean, blue team has less tanks but more points to defend the capture point. Red team has less points, but way more tanks, way more ability in tanks. So they get more tanks per kill. I mean, more points per kill. These get less points per kill, or something like that, to be able to spawn in again. And I would like a map like that, for example. And then I was talking about different dynamics in the maps, where it's just like, hey, I want some maps to have a lot of fog for tanks. I want some maps to have a lot of weather so that planes cannot get in. Maybe there would be a map like this, and like for example, the enemy team, this team has up to 2 to 3, maybe even 4 planes that they could spawn in the beginning of the match, and only that much in the beginning. But later on, they can spawn as much as they want to. And then the blue team can start off with anti-aircraft, like AI anti-aircraft on the ground and other things and ground support to help them, like anti-tank guns and placements, and they have a setup like a setup area and a briefing where they could set up the anti-tank guns and so on and so forth, and they could put those all along the map and figure out like a strategy on how they want to play out the map. And for example, kind of like Rainbow Six, but a little bit different and more planning. And what they actually did in World War II was like, hey, look, we're gonna put defenses here, 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 here. We're gonna put anti-tank guns in this area of the map, and then so on and so forth. You kind of get the point of what I'm saying. But being able to have that autonomy and doing those things in a mission, that's something that I would like to see in War Thunder, but I have not seen in a while. That's what I want. Just like I said, I want Enduring Confrontation to come back to air battles. Just like with air battles, I want to have some battles where it's just like, oh, I'm defending the bomber escort, I'm a fighter escort with attackers and so on and so forth. That's what I want to see in War Thunder. Now, I'd like to go more into detail with this with a different video at some point in the future and go over these ideas and talk about it. But these are some of the things that I like to see in War Thunder. And I don't like the roadmap that War Thunder has or anything that is doing at the moment because it's not directly addressing some of the problems that War Thunder has with the gameplay and also when it comes down to being an attacker, bomber, or fighter in this game. Like literally with the last years, and this would be a wild accusation, but it's just like the only thing that has been benefiting in this game is the fighters. Look, they've been killing the bombers, they kill all the attackers, and then they're like, oh, we can kill each other, this and the other. And saying that, oh, the agency is too powerful with this and that and the other. But you all don't like it, but then you all come and kill us and just say, oh, be a fighter, don't be an attacker then, because we can kill you, so on and so forth. Some of us just like the ground pound, but there's nothing for us to do that. Like the A10C can't even get to the battle. It could barely get into the battle. Half of the team is dead by the time I get into the battle most times. And then from the videos that I've been seeing with the A10C, it's like people complaining to get to the AIM 9Ms, but it has to survive that long. It has to get to the battle first. And some People like to say, some people go for the bases. The AT&T will go towards those bases and kill people. Fine, whatever. But we literally put an AIM 9M, or some people say it should have the AIM 9X, on a very slow plane. You can run away from the plane. Sometimes you don't even have to have flares. Like, you just zip off. You can literally not engage with this plane and be fine and keep your distance. Literally, it's a snail. But my thing about it is just that it's not really able to do anything in these battles with these type of vehicles, and there should be some implementation for not strike aircraft, for attackers. And then they should add a new thing for multi-role for different planes as well. Just like all the Harriers should be multi-role. I believe that A4B should be a generally a multi-role aircraft, but I know it was like an attacker, something like that in the war. But that's something that I would like to see in War Thunder as well. Just like this just says jet fighter or whatever, but multi-role should be in there. And if you have the multi-role, you could do everything without generally being penalized on if you're ground attack. Ground attacking, you only get 50% of RP or something like that. Something like that. But that's generally my thoughts, and this was all just simplified for the time being. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna stop the video here. Tell me what your thoughts. I'm gonna submit this to the War Thunder forum and see what everybody else says. But this is generally what I like to see in War Thunder. I did a video, two videos before. One I did ask a bunch of people in Discord, like the War Thunder Discord, the unofficial one, and well, I asked a couple of people. I did this in the past too. I asked people what they wanted in the game, and I also explained to them what I wanted. It was like, yeah, I would like to see this in the game because it's essentially boring. We're doing the same thing every single mission. Four bases, a bunch of ground units in the middle, and then fighters. Boom, that's a game or whatever. No, I want more things to be going on and like different maps and challenges and so on and so forth. I want to be able to use my torpedoes on ships. Like every most of the maps that I see, almost 90 to 95% of them have no ships. Literally no ships whatsoever. And if they do have ships, I'm not able to get to them or so on and so forth, whatever. There's nothing for it. But I'm gonna stop the video here and then we can go into detail. I want to see what people's thoughts are about this. And this is generally just a synopsis of what I think. And I do want to go over other things as well. But yeah.